Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Daily English Dialogues. We are so happy to have you here with us again. Today, Mark and I are going to talk about a powerful topic: rewrite your mindset, rewrite your life.
That's right. Welcome, everyone. This episode is for English learners who want to improve their language and also improve the way they think about themselves, their dreams, their mistakes, and their future.
Exactly. Sometimes people think life changes only when something outside changes. For example, they think they need more money, a better job, a perfect relationship, or a lucky opportunity. Of course, those things can help, but very often, real change begins inside our mind.
Yes, because the way we think influences the way we feel. The way we feel influences the actions we take. And the actions we take slowly create the life we experience every day.
I love that idea. It means our mindset is not just a small part of life. It is like the invisible foundation under a house. If the foundation is weak, the house is unstable. But if the foundation is strong, the house can stand through storms.
That is a beautiful image. And today, we are not saying that positive thinking solves every problem. Life is complicated. People face real difficulties, unfair situations, and painful experiences. But mindset can help us respond with more courage, patience, and wisdom.
Yes, rewriting your mindset does not mean pretending everything is easy. It means changing the story you tell yourself about difficulty. Instead of saying, "This is impossible," you might say, "This is challenging, but I can learn step by step."
That small change in language can create a big change in energy. When you say, "I can't," your brain often stops searching for solutions. But when you say, "I can learn," your brain begins to look for a path.
Let's begin with a simple question mark. What do we mean by mindset?
A mindset is a set of beliefs, attitudes, and mental habits that shape how we see the world. It is like a pair of glasses. If the glasses are dark, everything looks dark. If the glasses are clear, we can see more possibilities.
That makes sense. So, mindset is not just one thought. It is a pattern. It is the way we usually interpret events. For example, two people can fail the same exam, but they may explain it in totally different ways.
One person might say, "I failed because I am stupid. I will never be good at this." That person feels ashamed and gives up. Another person might say, "I failed because my method was not effective. I need to practice differently." That person feels disappointed, but still hopeful.
The event is the same, but the meaning is different. And the meaning changes the next action.
Exactly. That is why mindset is so powerful. It decides whether a mistake becomes a prison or a teacher.
I really like that sentence. A mistake can become a prison or a teacher. Many English learners understand this deeply. They make one grammar mistake, and suddenly they feel embarrassed. They think, "My English is terrible." But one mistake does not mean your English is terrible. It means you are learning.
Yes, a mistake is feedback. It shows you where to pay attention. If you never make mistakes, maybe you are not challenging yourself enough.
That is important. Growth does not happen in the comfort zone. It happens when we stretch ourselves. But many people avoid challenges because their mindset tells them, "If I am not good immediately, I am not talented."
That is called a fixed mindset. A fixed mindset believes abilities are permanent. It says, "I am either good at this or I am not." It makes people afraid of effort because effort feels like proof that they are not naturally talented.
On the other hand, a growth mindset believes abilities can develop through practice, strategy, support, and time. It says, "I may not be good yet, but I can improve."
The word "yet" is small, but it is very powerful. "I can't speak confidently" becomes, "I can't speak confidently yet." "I don't understand this grammar" becomes, "I don't understand this grammar yet."
That little word creates space for growth. It does not deny the current problem, but it keeps the future open.
Let's connect this to life. Imagine someone wants to change careers, start a business, become healthier, or learn English. At the beginning, the dream feels exciting, but soon obstacles appear. Then, mindset becomes the difference between continuing and quitting.
Yes. At the beginning, motivation is usually strong. People buy new notebooks, watch inspiring videos, make big plans, and feel ready. But after a few days or weeks, daily life becomes busy again. Then old thoughts return.
Thoughts like, I am too busy. I always fail. Other people are better than me, or it is too late for me. These thoughts sound realistic, but sometimes they are just old mental scripts.
A mental script is like a sentence that repeats in your mind automatically. You may not even notice it. But if it repeats often enough, you start to believe it.
And if you believe it, you act according to it. For example, if your script is, I am not disciplined, then every small mistake becomes evidence. You miss one workout and think, see, I knew it. I have no discipline.
But maybe the truth is different. Maybe you are not lazy. Maybe your plan was unrealistic. Maybe you tried to change too many things at once. Maybe you needed a clearer routine.
That is a very compassionate way to look at it. Rewriting your mindset often begins with asking better questions. Instead of asking, what is wrong with me? Ask, what can I adjust?
That question is so much healthier. What can I adjust? It gives you power without blaming yourself. It helps you become responsible, but not cruel to yourself.
Self-kindness is not weakness. In fact, it can make you stronger. When people attack themselves, they often lose energy. But when they speak to themselves with respect, they can recover faster.
Some people think being strict with yourself is the only way to improve. They believe they must use harsh words to push themselves. But harsh words can create fear. And fear is not always a good long-term teacher.
True. Discipline is important, but discipline does not have to be violent. You can be firm and kind at the same time. You can say, I did not do my best today, but tomorrow I will return to my plan.
That sounds much better than saying, I am hopeless. Because when you call yourself hopeless, your mind closes. But when you say, I can return, you create a doorway.
Let's talk about the first step to rewriting your mindset, becoming aware of your thoughts. You cannot rewrite a sentence if you do not know what the sentence says.
Exactly. Many people live with negative thoughts for years, but they never stop to examine them. They believe every thought is true simply because it appears in the mind.
But a thought is not always a fact. A thought is sometimes a habit. For example, I will fail is not a fact. It is a prediction, and predictions can be wrong.
That is a useful distinction. If I think, nobody likes me, that feels painful. But it may not be true. Maybe one person ignored my message. Maybe I am tired. Maybe my brain is creating a dramatic story.
Our brains can be dramatic sometimes. They try to protect us from danger, but they can also exaggerate problems. That is why we need to pause and ask, is this thought helpful? Is it completely true? Is there another way to see this?
Those three questions are powerful. Is this thought helpful? Is it completely true? Is there another way to see this? They help us create distance from our thoughts.
Distance is important. When you are inside a thought, it controls you. When you step back and observe it, you can choose your response.
Let's give an example. Imagine an English learner wants to join a conversation with international friends. But before speaking, they think, my pronunciation is bad. They will laugh at me.
If they believe that thought completely, they stay silent. Then they lose a chance to practice. Later, they may feel disappointed and say, I never speak English. The old mindset becomes stronger.
But if they rewrite the thought, they might say, my pronunciation is still improving, but communication is more important than perfection. I can speak slowly and clearly.
Then they say one sentence. Maybe it is not perfect, but it is real practice. And after practice, confidence grows. Confidence usually comes after action, not before action.
That is a huge point. Many people wait until they feel confident before they act. But often, confidence is built by acting while you still feel nervous.
Yes, courage is not the absence of fear. Courage means taking a meaningful step even when fear is present. You do not need to remove all fear before beginning.
This is true for language learning, work, relationships, health, and personal growth. We often want certainty before we begin. But life rarely gives complete certainty. We must begin with imperfect information.
Rewriting your mindset means becoming comfortable with being a beginner. Beginners are not embarrassing. Beginners are brave. Every expert was once a beginner who decided to continue.
I wish more people understood that. Being a beginner is not a sign of weakness. It is a sign that you are entering a new area of growth. It means you are expanding your life.
Let's move to the second step, changing your inner language. The words we use in our mind are like seeds. If we plant words of defeat, fear, and shame, we grow stress. If we plant words of patience, courage, and progress, we grow strength.
Inner language is the way we talk to ourselves. Some people would never speak cruelly to a friend, but they speak very cruelly to themselves. They say, I am stupid. I am useless. Or, I always ruin everything.
Those sentences are not just words. They affect the nervous system. They affect motivation. They affect identity. If you repeat, I am useless, often enough you may stop trying.
A better sentence might be, I am struggling right now, but I am not useless. I can take one small step. This sentence is honest and supportive.
Honest and supportive. That is the balance. We are not saying everything is perfect. We are saying this is difficult, but I still have choices.
Let's compare some old mindset sentences with rewritten ones. Old mindset. I failed, so I am a failure. New mindset. I failed at one task, but I can learn from it.
Old mindset. Other people are ahead of me, so I am behind. New mindset. Other people have their timeline, and I have mine. I can still make progress today.
Old mindset. I must be perfect before I start. New mindset. Starting is how I improve. Imperfect action is better than perfect imagination.
Old mindset. I do not have enough time. New mindset. I may not have a lot of time, but I can use 10 focused minutes.
Old mindset. I am too old to change. New mindset. My age gives me experience, and I can still grow.
These rewritten sentences are not magic, but they guide the brain toward action. They open the door to better choices.
The third step is to change your identity story. This is deeper than changing one thought. It is about the kind of person you believe you are.
Identity is powerful because people usually act according to who they believe they are. If someone says, I am not a reader, they probably do not read often. If they say, I am becoming a reader, they may start reading 1 page a day.
That phrase, I am becoming, is very useful. It gives you a new identity without forcing you to pretend. You do not need to say, I am perfect. You can say, I am becoming more disciplined, or I am becoming more confident.
Yes, identity can be built through small, repeated actions. If you write for 10 minutes every day, you begin to see yourself as a writer. If you practice English daily, you begin to see yourself as an English speaker.
That is important for learners. Many students say, I am learning English, but they do not dare to say, I am an English speaker. However, if you use English to communicate, even simply, you are already an English speaker in progress.
I agree. You do not need perfect grammar to deserve that identity. You need willingness, practice, and patience. Fluency is not a gift that appears overnight. It is a result of many small moments.
The fourth step is to design your environment. Mindset is inside us, but environment still matters. If your environment constantly supports your old habits, changing your mindset becomes harder.
Absolutely. For example, if you want to read more but your phone is always beside your bed, you may scroll for an hour instead of reading. That does not mean you are weak. It means your environment is guiding your behavior.
So, if you want to rewrite your life, you can also rewrite your surroundings. Put the book on your pillow. Put your English notebook on your desk. Remove distractions from your study area.
And choose people who support your growth. The people around us influence our mindset. If everyone around you complains, mocks your dreams, or tells you not to try, it becomes harder to stay hopeful.
But if you spend time with people who are learning, building, improving, and encouraging each other, your mindset becomes stronger. You start to believe that progress is normal.
This does not mean you must leave everyone behind. It means you should protect your mental space. You can love people and still choose carefully whose opinions you allow into your heart.
That is mature. Not every opinion deserves the same weight. Some people criticize because they care. Some people criticize because they are afraid. Some people criticize because they never tried themselves.
Exactly. When you are rewriting your mindset, you need to choose your influences carefully: books, podcasts, conversations, social media, music, and even the accounts you follow online.
Social media is a big one. If your feed makes you feel jealous, anxious, or not good enough, maybe it is time to clean it. Follow content that educates you, inspires you, or helps you feel calm.
The fifth step is to build evidence. Your brain believes what it repeatedly sees. If you want to believe, I can keep promises to myself, you need small pieces of evidence.
Small promises are better than huge promises that you cannot keep. For example, instead of saying, I will study English for 3 hours every day, start with, I will study for 15 minutes after breakfast.
When you keep that promise, your brain says, I am someone who follows through. Then the next promise becomes easier. Confidence grows from evidence.
I think this is one of the most practical parts of mindset change. We cannot just repeat beautiful sentences and then do nothing. The mind changes faster when our actions support the new belief.
Yes, affirmations can help, but action makes them believable. Saying, I am healthy, while never moving your body may feel empty. But saying, I am becoming healthier, while walking 20 minutes a day feels real.
The same with English. Saying, I am confident in English, may feel difficult at first. But after you record your voice, join a short conversation, or learn 5 useful phrases, the sentence becomes more believable.
Mindset and action work together. Mindset helps you act, and action strengthens your mindset.
Let's talk about comparison. Many people cannot rewrite their mindset because they are always comparing their chapter 1 with someone else's chapter 20.
That is so common. We look at someone's success, but we do not see their years of practice, failure, confusion, and sacrifice. We only see the result, not the process.
And then we judge ourselves unfairly. We say, they are so talented. I am nothing. But we forget that everyone has a hidden journey.
A healthier mindset says, their success is evidence that growth is possible. Instead of using successful people as weapons against yourself, use them as inspiration.
That is a great rewrite. From jealousy to curiosity. Instead of asking, why am I not like them? Ask, what can I learn from them?
Curiosity is a powerful mindset. It reduces shame and increases learning. When you are curious, you do not need to protect your ego so much. You can say, interesting. What is the lesson here?
Curiosity also helps in conflict. If someone gives you feedback, a fixed mindset may feel attacked. But a growth mindset can ask, is there something useful in this feedback?
Of course, not all feedback is correct. But even then, you can choose calmly. You can accept what is useful and leave what is not.
Another important part of rewriting your mindset is learning to handle failure. Failure is uncomfortable, but it is not the opposite of success. Often, it is part of success.
Many successful people have failed many times. But they did not turn every failure into an identity. They turned failure into information. They asked, what did this teach me?
That question can change everything. What did this teach me? It helps you move from pain to progress.
Let's imagine someone applies for a job and gets rejected. The old mindset says, I am not good enough. The rewritten mindset says, this rejection hurts, but it can help me improve my resume, interview skills, or job strategy.
Or imagine someone tries to speak English in a meeting and forgets a word. The old mindset says, I embarrassed myself. The rewritten mindset says, I found a word I need to learn. Next time, I will be more prepared.
This does not remove the uncomfortable feeling immediately, but it gives the feeling a direction. You are not just suffering, you are learning.
I think people also need to understand that rewriting your mindset takes repetition. You cannot think negatively for 10 years and then change everything in one afternoon.
Yes, old thoughts are like old roads in the brain. They are easy to travel because you have used them many times. New thoughts are like new paths through a forest. At first, they feel strange and difficult. But with repetition, the path becomes clearer.
That is encouraging. It means difficulty at the beginning does not mean failure. It simply means the new path is not familiar yet.
Exactly. When you rewrite your mindset, expect resistance. Your mind may say, this feels fake, or this will not work. That does not mean you should stop. It means your old pattern is trying to survive.
So be patient with yourself. You are not just changing a sentence. You are changing a habit of thinking. and habits need practice.
Let's discuss gratitude. Gratitude is not ignoring problems. It is training the mind to notice what is still good, useful, beautiful, or possible.
That is a nice definition. Some people think gratitude means saying, I have no problems. But gratitude actually says, I have problems, and I also have things to appreciate.
Gratitude balances the mind. Without gratitude, the brain can focus only on what is missing. We may forget what is already working.
A simple practice is to write 3 things you are grateful for every evening. They do not need to be huge. Maybe you are grateful for a warm meal, a kind message, a peaceful walk, or one new English word.
Over time, this practice teaches your mind to search for good evidence. It does not make life perfect, but it makes your attention more balanced.
Attention is important because your life feels different depending on where your attention goes. If you always focus on what is wrong, life feels heavy. If you also notice progress, support, and beauty, life feels more hopeful.
Hope is not naive. Hope is a form of strength. It says, the future can be better and my actions can matter.
Let's talk about responsibility. Rewriting your mindset also means taking responsibility for what you can control.
That is essential. Some people misunderstand mindset and think it means blaming people for every difficulty. That is not fair. We cannot control everything. We cannot control the economy, other people's choices, or the past.
But we can often control our next step, our attitude, our preparation, our response, our learning, and our boundaries.
Responsibility is not blame. Blame says, this is your fault. Responsibility says, what can I do now? It focuses on power, not shame.
That is a helpful difference. When people feel powerless, they often become passive. But when they identify even one small thing they can control, they start moving again.
And movement creates energy. Sometimes you do not think your way into a new life. You act your way into a new way of thinking.
That sentence is worth repeating. Sometimes you do not think your way into a new life. You act your way into a new way of thinking.
For example, if you feel like an unorganized person, clean one small part of your desk. If you feel like a shy English learner, say one sentence out loud. If you feel stuck, take one small physical action.
Small actions are not small when they change your direction. A tiny step in the right direction is still meaningful.
Let's talk about fear of judgment. This is one of the biggest reasons people stay in the same life. They worry too much about what others will think.
Yes, they want to start something, but they imagine everyone laughing. They want to speak English, but they imagine people judging their accent. They want to change careers, but they imagine relatives criticizing them.
The truth is, people think about us less than we imagine. Most people are busy thinking about their own lives, problems, and insecurities.
That is actually freeing. We are not the main character in everyone else's mind. We can make mistakes and continue.
A rewritten mindset says, I would rather be judged for trying than regret never trying. Regret can be heavier than embarrassment.
That is true. Embarrassment usually fades, but regret can stay for a long time. So sometimes the brave choice is not comfortable, but it protects your future self.
Think about your future self as a real person. What would that person thank you for? Maybe they would thank you for studying today, resting properly, saving money, apologizing, applying for the opportunity, or speaking even though you were nervous.
I love the idea of caring for your future self. It makes discipline feel warmer. You are not punishing yourself. You are giving a gift to the person you are becoming.
Rewriting your mindset also means choosing long-term respect over short-term comfort. Comfort is pleasant, but it does not always lead to growth.
For example, scrolling on your phone may feel comfortable now, but studying English for 20 minutes may make you proud later. Eating unhealthy food every day may feel easy now, but cooking a simple healthy meal may support your future energy.
The goal is not to remove pleasure from life. The goal is to choose pleasure wisely and not allow short-term comfort to steal long-term dreams.
That is a balanced view. We need rest, joy, and fun. But we also need purpose, effort, and direction.
Another mindset shift is moving from, I have to I get to. This is a simple but powerful change.
For example, I have to study English becomes, I get to study English because I have access to learning. I have to exercise. Becomes. I get to move my body. I have to work. Becomes. I get to develop skills and support my life.
Of course, not every task is enjoyable, but this mindset helps us see privilege, opportunity, and meaning. It reduces resentment.
Meaning is very important. When you connect a task to a meaningful reason, you can continue even when motivation is low.
Motivation is like weather. It changes. Some days it is sunny, some days it is cloudy. But values are deeper. If you know why something matters, you can keep going through cloudy days.
So, if you are learning English, ask yourself, why does English matter to me? Maybe it helps you study abroad, get a better job, make international friends, travel confidently, or express yourself.
Write that reason somewhere visible. When you feel tired, your reason can remind you that this effort is not random. It is connected to the life you want.
Let's also talk about perfectionism. Perfectionism often looks like high standards, but underneath, it may be fear.
Yes, perfectionism says, if it cannot be perfect, I should not do it. But this mindset blocks progress. Most good things begin as imperfect attempts.
A rewritten mindset says, I can improve something after I begin. You cannot edit a blank page. You cannot improve a conversation you never start. You cannot strengthen a skill you never practice.
Done is often better than perfect. Not always, of course. Some tasks require accuracy. But in learning and personal growth, imperfect practice is necessary.
For English learners, this means speak before you feel perfect. Write before you know every grammar rule. Listen before you understand every word. Progress comes from exposure and repetition.
And celebrate small wins. Many people ignore their progress because they are only looking at the final goal.
Small wins matter. If you understood a sentence in a movie, celebrate it. If you remembered a new phrase, celebrate it. If you spoke for 30 seconds more than last week, celebrate it.
Celebration tells your brain, this behavior is valuable. Do it again. It makes learning more enjoyable.
Some people are afraid to celebrate small wins because they think it will make them lazy. But healthy celebration does not stop progress. It gives energy for the next step.
Exactly. You can be proud and still hungry for growth. Pride and progress can exist together.
Let's create a simple daily practice for rewriting mindset. Step 1, notice one negative thought. Step 2, question it. Step 3, rewrite it. Step 4, take one small action.
For example, negative thought. I am bad at English. Question. Is this completely true? Rewrite. My English is developing, and I can improve with practice. Action. Listen to a 5-minute English dialogue and repeat 3 sentences.
Another example, negative thought. I always waste time. Question. Always. Or did I waste some time today? Rewrite. I lost focus today, but I can use the next 10 minutes well. Action. Set a timer and do one important task.
This practice is simple, but if you repeat it daily, it can change your mental habits.
I also think journaling helps. When thoughts stay inside your head, they can feel huge and confusing. When you write them down, you can see them more clearly.
Journaling does not need to be long. You can write 3 sentences. Today I felt. The thought behind that feeling was. A healthier thought could be.
That is a practical structure. It helps you connect emotions, thoughts, and new choices.
Another useful habit is speaking to yourself like a coach. A good coach does not lie to you, but also does not destroy you. A good coach says, this needs work, and I believe you can improve.
Many people have an inner critic, but they need an inner coach. The critic only points at problems. The coach points towards solutions.
That is a powerful difference. The critic says, you failed. The coach says, what is the next move? The critic says, you are not enough. The coach says, you are learning.
Let's talk about patience. In our modern world, people want fast results. They want to transform their body in 2 weeks, become fluent in 1 month, or change their whole life immediately.
But deep change usually takes time. If you expect instant results, you may quit too early. A better mindset is, I am building something valuable, and valuable things take time.
Patience does not mean doing nothing. It means taking consistent action without demanding immediate rewards.
Consistency is more powerful than intensity. Studying English for 20 minutes every day is often better than studying 5 hours once and then stopping for 2 weeks.
Yes, a rewritten mindset respects small daily effort. It understands that ordinary actions, repeated often, can create extraordinary results.
Let's also remember rest. Some people rewrite their mindset from, I am lazy, to, I must work all the time. That is not healthy either.
True. Rest is not failure. Rest is part of growth. Your brain needs rest to learn. Your body needs rest to recover. Your emotions need rest to become stable.
A healthy mindset says, I can work with focus and rest without guilt. Balance is not weakness. It is wisdom.
That is especially important for students and workers who feel pressure all the time. If your life is only pressure, your mind becomes exhausted. A better life includes effort and recovery.
Let's imagine a listener who feels stuck right now. Maybe they feel behind in life. Maybe they compare themselves to friends. Maybe they are tired of starting and stopping.
To that listener, I would say, you are not broken. You may simply be carrying old beliefs that no longer serve you. You can begin again, not because the past was perfect, but because the future is still open.
And beginning again does not need to be dramatic. You do not need to change everything today. Choose one thought, one habit, one promise, one action.
Maybe today's action is writing down one limiting belief. For example, I am not confident. Then rewrite it. I am learning to become more confident through small, brave actions.
Maybe today's action is forgiving yourself for stopping before. You can say, I stopped in the past, but I can restart today. Restarting is a skill.
That is beautiful. Restarting is a skill. The people who succeed are not people who never fall. They are people who learn how to return.
Return to the plan. Return to the dream. Return to the practice. Return to yourself.
Let's also remember that rewriting your mindset is not about becoming someone else. It is about becoming more fully yourself, without the heavy limits you learned from fear, shame, or past experiences.
Yes, you are not deleting your personality. You are updating your beliefs. You are choosing thoughts that support your growth instead of thoughts that keep you trapped.
Sometimes we inherit mindsets from family, school, culture, or painful moments. Maybe someone told you that you were not smart. Maybe a teacher embarrassed you. Maybe you failed once and decided never to try again.
Those experiences matter, but they do not have to write the final chapter of your life. You can respect your past and still choose a new direction.
That is the heart of today's topic. Rewrite your mindset, rewrite your life. When you change the story, you change the possibilities you can see.
And when you see new possibilities, you take new actions. When you take new actions, you create new results. Slowly, life begins to change.
Let's review the main ideas before we finish. First, notice your thoughts. Do not believe every thought automatically. A thought can be a habit, not a fact.
Second, change your inner language. Speak to yourself with honesty and kindness. Replace I cannot with I can learn. Replace I failed with I received feedback.
Third, build a new identity through small actions. Say, I am becoming more confident, and then do one small thing that supports that identity.
Fourth, design your environment. Make good habits easier and bad habits harder. Choose influences that help your mind grow.
Fifth, stop comparing your beginning to someone else's success. Use other people as inspiration, not as evidence against yourself.
Sixth, treat failure as information. Ask, what can I learn? And what is my next step?
Seventh, practice gratitude, patience, and consistency. Deep change is built through repeated small choices.
And finally, remember that you can begin again. Your past patterns may explain you, but they do not have to define you forever.
Before we go, I want to leave our listeners with a small challenge. Today, write down one negative thought that often stops you.
Then rewrite it into a more helpful, realistic, and encouraging sentence. After that, take one small action that supports the new thought.
For example, if your old thought is, I am not good at English, rewrite it as, my English is improving every time I practice. Then listen to this episode again and repeat 5 sentences out loud.
If your old thought is, I never finish anything, rewrite it as, I can finish small tasks and build trust with myself. Then finish one small task today.
Remember, your life does not change only through big decisions. It also changes through small thoughts, small words, and small actions repeated with care.
And every time you choose a better thought, you are not just thinking differently. You are practicing a new future.
Thank you so much for listening to Daily English Dialogues. We hope this conversation helped you practice English and think about your life in a fresh, hopeful way.
If you enjoyed this episode, please like this video, leave a comment, and tell us one mindset sentence you want to rewrite today.
And do not forget to subscribe to Daily English Dialogues for more friendly English conversations, useful vocabulary, and inspiring topics.
Keep learning, keep growing, and remember, when you rewrite your mindset, you begin to rewrite your life.
See you in the next episode. Take care, stay positive, and keep speaking English with confidence.
Goodbye, everyone.